Welcome to this YouTube channel dedicated to backpack, specifically backpack France. We are going to talk about a lot of things on this YouTube channel. We will start with, I think, the most interesting thing for anyone landing on this video. It's simply about the potential airdrop to farm. Well, potential, we can call it a confirmed airdrop, I think, at this stage. From backpack, the points system that has been set up, we assume that Hyperliquid has been able or will be able to give ideas to other exchanges coming to the market. Unlike Hyperliquid here, it is not a DEX but a CX, so keep that in mind. But there you go. We will first, I will try to introduce the potentially biggest airdrop of 2025 in an upcoming video very soon. We will see how to materialize this farming of airdrops, this farming of points, how to proceed, how to maximize it, what would be better to engage with or not engage with to farm the maximum number of points. First of all, welcome everyone. Thank you to all who will follow the content related to backpack. So backpack new sex on the market, which was made available to everyone, I believe, more or less at the end of 2023, with beta testing in 2024, for which I was able to access, for which many people were able to access. And recently, on March 21st, 2024, we can see welcome to season 1. In other words, the beginning of this beautiful point farming at Hyperliquid, at many other protocols we have had throughout 2023 and all of 2024. I invite you to follow both the Backpack France channel and the Twitter, well, the X Backpack France, where we will try to keep you as updated as possible and communicate as much as possible about backpack news, upcoming features, and everything obviously related to the airdrop to farm. Roughly backpack will be able to find some data, so it's still a very opaque environment for now, because the farming season has just started. The opening to the public is quite recent. I think we can't, would it be too complicated to trace back? The opening is relatively recent. It's relatively recent. I don't have the exact date anymore, but we have data, but it remains relatively opaque, but we make do. And we are really aiming to farm this airdrop. Apart from the airdrop, backpack remains excellent products with the wallet. A very, very good add-on to Phantom. It's different, it's new, it's fresh, it's quite nice. It collaborated well with the Mono testnet, and I told you something silly, but Eclipse, so it's still nice. It allows interacting on testnets very, very easily. It's fresh, it's young, honestly, these are excellent products, both the centralized exchange and the wallet. So there you go. We have the right to this CoinGecko page. Naturally, the start of farming has brought in a lot of interest from people, so we see a volume which is starting to explode more and more. We have quite a few pairs for the spot. The spot is relatively well loaded lately, so we can see that there are not huge volumes on most of them. Then I think for now the exchange is quietly growing, and people are mainly here to farm this airdrop and to try out all the products. backpack, which is supposed to arrive in Europe, which started, if I remember correctly, to arrive in Europe. Not all countries are available for the Know Your Customer process. You will find all the links in the description, including an affiliate link for your registration on Backpack. If your country is not available for the Know Your Customer process, it's not a problem. At least the registration is already done. You will just have to wait for the Know Your Customer process to become available. I can only recommend you use the affiliate link, because with this channel and this X, we will very likely redistribute money to the affiliates soon for a certain number of volumes, a quantity of volumes completed. So feel free to choose, but I think it could be interesting. We have some data on Backpack. We have 56 spot pairs, and from memory there are 18 perpetual pairs with leverage. There you go, we have 18 perpetual pairs. We have some data, so that will be on the spot. We can see that it's clearly going to be growing data. Sorry, well, that won't be the best example to consider. We're not going to take into account it's much too early. We can focus on the last 3 months. It's interesting. Keep in mind that this corresponds to the spot. You have interesting data on CoinGecko. I'm not specifically here to you. I will not show all that in detail. I will let you go check it out yourself. It's just to give you an overview. We can quickly go see the contract. The perpetual contracts, what's up with those? We have the biggest currencies, right? We have Sol, which is normally, the main one. The main point of interest is Sol there. Open position, we have 5 million of we have as much as BTC. Level of open positions are exploding on the Backpack. Obviously, everyone is trying to get a piece of the pie. I remind you that this is the first season for farming, so it's certainly very interesting to start farming them. You have documentation, a lot of documentation available on Backpack. Of course, all the links will be in the description. No worries on that front. That's a bit of what we can know about this famous point farming, which will interest quite a few people, I think, starting on March 21st. We are going to have a ranking system. The criteria, as I mentioned, remain very operational. It's up to Backpack's will. It seems to me that they mention it somewhere. Constantly updated. Monitor Backpack's growth. The allocation criteria are constantly updated and deliberately opaque. That's why we'll see in the next video that it's better to try out all the products, all the features available on Backpack. The points are, this first season lasts 10 weeks, so it still leaves that leaves a wide time horizon for you to go farming. Distributions are made once a week, every Friday, as we can see here. There was a first snapshot for beta test users, what they call the legacy drop. So I was able to receive it. It was small, but it's always nice of them for the beta testers and others. We can assume that it will happen. These are just hypotheses, but it will happen like Hyperliquid, in a scenario where the fewer people farming, the less we are. The more we can gather from this cake, if we farm among the first, we suspect it might diminish afterward. That's why I emphasize that it would be important it might be interesting to start farming. In the next video, we'll see how to avoid completely failing while farming, because the goal is not to go broke or to smash your net worth using leverage to farm points. That's really not the goal, I think, but there you go. So basically on CryptoRamp, you can see there is some somewhat interesting data. You can see that Backpack has raised funds. I wasn't directly involved. We have initial funds raised in strategy, both in Series A. There were 20 million raised. This dates back to 2022, but on the other hand, we can see that February 2024, I find it super interesting. We have Series A raised for 17 million. we have access to the valuation next to it. So it means everything and nothing for now, but I find it interesting to have access to this data nonetheless. And given that they also have a wallet on the side, one can imagine that Backpack is building a nice treasury by taking from the fees, all the fees generated, all that. So we can hope for a nice treasury for Backpack. Moreover, it is raising funds. We keep that in mind. We also have access on CryptoRank to the little airdrop tab. So we can assume that the airdrop is more or less certain, although we shouldn't assume that, but there you go. I can create a wallet there. Oops, I can create a wallet with you, Adon. I thought I could do it directly here, but no. I put the small window in front of me so we can create a wallet together, quite simply. The best thing I can advise you is to use Backpack FR as a referral code for your wallets and for signing up on Backpack FR. Backpack Exchange, we can create a wallet together. Hop, Solana, and Ethereum. We can see the mass of available networks with this magnificent semantic wallet Backpack. We have our little Backpack wallet. I hope you see it like that. An extension, I hope you see it. At worst, it's not a big deal. As I mentioned earlier, we are not here specifically to detail all the Backpack products right away. It's simply a matter of raising awareness, so to speak, about point farming Backpack products. And so here we are directly on the exchange. Classic. We have our spot, we have our future, we have the landing part. We'll see that together soon. And before we leave you, the brief message we are entitled to is a small recap on the points farming section on Backpack. There you go. They insist, right? They insist on these different seasons that will be able to come later. So I think that it remains relatively interesting given the success of the Hyperliquid to farm intelligently, as I mentioned, without hitting obstacles. And we will soon see together how to optimize this farming a little, which features to touch. I think it will be very interesting. I'll leave you and see you soon.